Go for it.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, July 8th, 2022. The time is 2:18 p.m. We're continuing our Board of Equalization appeal hearings. We are going to be hearing appeal number 2022-640. Attending in person are Commissioners Duncan and Filios.
And Commissioner Brooks will be on the phone in
And
just
Commissioner
a minute.
Brooks will be joining us momentarily by phone. This is the appeal by William and Tiffany Nichols, and we're just waiting for Commissioner Brooks to join us, and we will begin.
Bill Brooks.
Hi, we are on appeal number 640, and this is the one that is on YouTube. So,
Okay, 640.
yes,
All right.
sir. Okay.
Okay, so at this time, I will ask Commissioner Leslie Duncan to read the rules of play into the file, please.
Idaho Code 63501 grants the Board of County Commissioners the right to sit as the Board of Equalization. The purpose of this hearing is to consider an appeal of the assessed value of the subject property. The assessor's value is presumed to be correct, therefore the burden of proof is on the appellant to provide a preponderance of evidence proving his or her case. The decision of the Board will be based on equalization of market value, not on taxes. The timing of this hearing will be limited. The appellant will go first and be allotted approximately 5 minutes to provide evidence which supports their case. The assessor will then also be allowed up to 5 minutes to state their case. The Board may ask clarifying questions before moving into deliberations. No testimony will be heard during deliberations. Some of the information provided in the packet distributed by the assessor may contain copyright information. Further disclosure of this status prohibited. Assessor staff, please introduce yourselves. Is your microphone on? Okay, please push it. There you go. Okay, go ahead.
Robert Scott for the assessor.
Andrew Buffin for the assessor.
Thank you. All right, sir, appellant, if you would introduce yourself and state your relationship to the property owner.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is William Nichols. I live at 6127 Teak Street in Post Falls.
Okay, and so you are the owner?
I am the owner, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now the clerk will administer the oath to all participants.
Please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in the issue pending before the Kootenai County Board of Equalization shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Nichols, sir, you have up to 5 minutes to present your case. Proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do have packets that I was asked to bring to the
Sure.
to the hearing for. I made 6 copies, so 3 to you, 2 to them as well.
That's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is my first appeal hearing, obviously, so I really don't know really what to expect. I just, I saw the assessed value, the increase of $300,000 compared to prior years is obviously due to the growth in this wonderful, beautiful state that we live in. I've lived here for 8 years, and I've obviously seen the growth firsthand, as well as we all have. And I bought my house at a certain value, and it seems like the taxes are continually going up due to assessments. I understand that taxes cannot be obviously brought up to the $300,000 mark as far as the increase in value. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking that I've attached comparables on page, I think it's the very last page of what sales were. I received my first assessment notice on roughly about the 9th of June, at which time the total land value was assessed at $255,000, with the residential improvement at $639,000. I since have received a corrected notice dated 6/27, which decreased the land or the 28 city resolution lot acreage at 185, which is a $70,000 reduction, bringing my total net taxable property value down to $699 from the $769 that it was when I first received my assessed notice. So I'm just I'm basically looking at the comparables for the houses that were sold prior to the assessed value. I think it's pretty comparable to what the acreage and square footage of our house is compared to what the comparables are on this, and I think the assessed value is over-assessed. Really, that's all I really have to say on it. Again, not really sure what to expect. I just wanted to let my voice be known in front of you all. Thank you.
So help me out here, because what are you showing as the current assessed value?
Currently is $824,188.
Okay, so that's the reduction, and that came about as a result of the reduction in the land value.
Right. We did it, well, if I may answer, we did a study during the review period and found that the area was a little bit overvalued, and so we reduced the land value.
Okay, so go right ahead then.
Okay, I'll go over the sales data that we have on the neighborhood. So this is the Riverside Harbor Hunters Glen area, and we have 714 parcels in that geo. We had 35 sales. Our median, final median ratio was 97.49, and our COD, which measures how they're grouped around the median, was 5.98, which it was a really tight grouping. We had no sales that exceeded 110% on our ratios. Nice data. I'll talk a little bit about the property itself. It's a single-family dwelling, 2,296 square feet, single level. Average plus quality, appears to be in average condition. It was built in 2008. We have a 2010 effective year on it, basically just for maintenance. And so I did pull up a couple of comparables just for a look at values and how they have changed. I have one here that is another single-level home, a little bit smaller, 1,900 square feet, and it only has a two-car garage. The subject property also has a 20 by 32 shop. And so I made some adjustments just for square footage, very simple, for the square footage and for the shop. This property actually started at, it was at $699,000. With the adjustments, it's at $767,000, just below the subject property's value. I have another one that's slightly larger, did not have a shop. This one is 2,341 square feet, and with the adjustments for the smaller square footage and the shop, it values at $848,573. These are two properties that are within this geo. They're excellent examples of our values for the year. I did note that the comparables that the appellant brought are from all over Post Falls, north, south, generally to the north of the freeway, really not anywhere near this property, which is down somewhat near the river. And they would value substantially different, being in different neighborhoods, different locations. And so I would not give them a lot of weight. The comps that I use directly from our neighborhood demonstrate that the values there are good, and our data states the same. So with that, I would ask that the board affirm our value.
So, Mr. Nichols, do you have any questions for the assessor?
So my question basically is what it seems to myself, and I'm sure as to, well, a lot of native Idahoans here, as homeowners, we're being pushed out. We're being pushed out because of this over-assessed value, based on the fact that the people who are not selling their properties bought at a certain price. And if you keep assessing compared to all the people that want to move to our beautiful state, it's going to make everybody who's made a life here, I've been here for 8 years and made a life here, it's going to make for everybody just being forced out because they can't afford the property taxes. We've got
Sir, let me interrupt you there because it didn't seem like there was a question in there. Have you been to the property tax estimator?
Don't know anything about that number.
Okay, so we'll give you information, so when we're done here, you can go look it up. Just the numbers I plugged in, which don't hang your hat on it.
Right.
You're gonna be about flat or about plus 71, so your taxes will go down $71.
Okay.
So the issue with Kootenai County is it's just risen everywhere. And so now, instead of like 27.5 billion, 28 billion, we're now 44 billion
I
in
get it.
valuation.
Yeah.
Right. So it's spread out. My house went up 80% and my taxes are going down about $50.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. I totally understand where you're
Sure.
coming from, and this is my first foray into this, so as a general taxpayer, you see this kind of growth in, a $300,000 increase
Yes.
in the value of your house will freak anybody out. And I think it's very important that people understand what we're talking about here today. I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
It's the clarification that, the people that are bringing their money from other states and
Yeah.
overpopulating for our infrastructure, for everything else that goes into it, it's kind of a gray area with a lot of different, especially native Idahoans. Because I'm one of the people that moved here too. I moved here to we had a 2-year-old and to provide a better life for him.
Sure.
And this area, as we all know, sitting in this room right now, has just dramatically increased from everything to traffic and everything else. So
Sure.
I'm very thankful that you guys are making this kind of more understandable for me
Yes.
as a general
And
taxpayer.
actually, we try to get out ahead of it with Facebook posts and some postings on our website to try and explain the situation to people. And you're right, there's a fair amount of shock treatment that occurs when people see a dramatic increase. The state of Idaho is a market value state. And so I keep wanting to say the oppressor, which is that a Freudian slip? Some people would agree with that.
The target on my back?
Sorry, guys. The assessor is required to come in to within 90 to 110% of market value. And if they don't, if they fail, let's say they're coming in at 70 or 80%, state steps in, up. And the state will automatically bring it to a minimum of 90%, and people basically forfeit their right to appeal. So they have to operate under those guidelines. Anyway, that's where we're at. Can that change? Yes, but it would take the legislature to make that, and it would probably be a constitutional change at that, so.
Right.
I've been here 27 years, and I've seen the changes.
So I haven't seen anything.
No, well, I'm not saying that, but, this was an extreme year. And as the commissioner stated, we have to be at market value. And what drives market value, that's the sales prices. That's what we respond to. And so, every year we look at the sales. We have to value your home as of January 1st.
Right.
And so we look at the previous year's sales, and they tell us where the market's going and what adjustments we have to make to the neighborhoods to bring those properties up to market. And so we do that same thing every year. This has just been an extreme year. Sales prices are the highest they've ever been in the county. And we're sensitive to the tax issues and all of those implications. We do have a different understanding than most of the public about the tax situation.
Right.
We feel badly that people don't have more information on the tax issue because most of them, that we've talked to feel that, a 70 or 80% increase in their value is going to increase their taxes 70 or 80%.
Yes.
And it just hasn't been the case. And usually when they hear what's going to happen with taxes, that they're not going to get taxed out of their home, they feel a lot better about the value. And so next year, if the market levels off or it begins to decline, values are going to come back down. Taxes aren't going to change all that much. If the market goes down, the budgets stay where they are, and taxes are going to pretty much remain the same. So the values really, they're shocking, but that's the market, and honestly, I hope this is the last year I have to deal with it, because it's been tough.
I
We knew it was coming. We knew there were going to be a lot of folks that would be shocked and alarmed about this, and here we are.
Right.
So I appreciate you coming in.
No, not a problem. I think it's very important for people to understand the clarification of the growth, and, it's good for all of us to have a very nice piece of land and a house that you live in, but when you start talking up in taxes, you know, from a standpoint, that was what got me to even come here today, is I'm thinking, okay, well, my value's gone up $300,000 and now my tax is based on the 1% of that assessed value. That's like $3,000 difference in
Right.
mortgage and impound account, all that other stuff, as you can understand.
Yeah.
So yes, the shocking nature of it is, I
Sure.
can imagine a lot of people listening are not aware of what we're talking about today.
Right.
So levy rate's gonna come down,
Yep.
and that's gonna change the tax picture.
And
So-
we're going to go ahead and wrap up this hearing, and we'll get you that tax estimator information.
Yeah, no, that's fine,
Okay?
appreciate
One
it.
final point, Bob, just briefly explain the time adjustment.
So when a property sells in an appreciating market like this, we look at the full year and see how the market's changed from the beginning to the end. This year was about 30%. And so if a home sells early in the year, on January 1st of that year, it's going to be worth more. And so you'll see a property sell, and in fact, that's one of the things I didn't cover on your comparables, is you don't see the time-adjusted sales, or time-adjusted value. So what we would do is say it's sold in the middle of the year, in June, there's about, 15% of appreciation until January 1st. So you'll see that the assessed value is much higher than the sales price because of that appreciation. And we'll recalculate for that again next year. We'll see what the market's doing. It might be flat, and then maybe there's no adjustment. But there's several things that we look at. That's one of them that has a big impact. And so, this year, 2%, 2.5% a month is a huge amount.
Right.
So that'll help you understand the higher. value.
Okay, so, thank you. So on that note, motion please.
I move we end public testimony and enter into deliberations.
Second?
Commissioner,
Oh, sorry, Bill.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, thoughts please.
The comps provided, unfortunately, were not part of the neighborhood. They were not time-adjusted sale prices, and so there was not a preponderance of evidence to affect the value of the appellant's property.
Bill?
Yes, I would agree. I would also point out that the property in the next year depreciates. That will be taken into account in the same way that the appreciation is being taken into account now.
Okay, and I would have to concur with the statements just made. Applying time adjustment, which Bob Scott, just explained to us, is one of the factors. We do have a market that's been wildcat, to say the least. We've had a number of cases of properties being bid up. Nevertheless, whether or not that's right or wrong, or rational or irrational, that's still a data point, and that creates another comp. Motion, please.
I move that we affirm the value placed by the assessor's office for appeal number 22640 AIN 301964.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and so for appeal number 22-640, Board of Equalization upholds the assessor's determination of value. Time is now 2:36. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Nichols, did you have another question?
Yes, one final. So is the last value based on the corrected notice on page 3?
Yes.
It is.
So 699
Yes.
instead of the,
If you're subtracting your
769.
homeowners from that,
yeah.
Yes.
yeah, it should be,
Based on the 7,
yeah, it should be 824,188 should be the last value, I believe, that you should see.
okay, yeah, that's right.
And
Okay,
then, yeah, subtract
correct.
the
Yeah,
125.
so you'll put that bottom line after the homeowner's exemption into the calculator. And Bob, are you able to get him the information for the calculator?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
okay.
All right.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you. Have a good
weekend.
day. All right, so